Kids, today we're going to do a Python tutorial and I'm going to show you guys how to make a simple number game. So basically, this is the code. So you hit run and it's going to ask you what your name is. So I'll just tell it that my name is Bob and I'm going to hit enter and it's going to tell me how to play the game. Hey Bob, this is the guess a number game. You need to guess the right number to win. Okay, sounds interesting. So I'm just going to enter a random number. Let's say 15. And it tells me that I need to guess lower. So I tried 10. It's even lower. Okay, 5 maybe? And then it just gets higher. Maybe 6. And I guessed the right number. So that's just the game that we're going to learn how to make today. So for the game, we need to code the actual game where it tells you to guess higher and lower and then tells you guess the right number when you actually guess the right number. And just as an additional step, I also decided to add this tiny fun gimmicky thing at the top where it asks you what your name is and then tells you how to play the game. So let's head over to a new file, get rid of our terminal, and let's start coding. Okay, so first I'm just going to tell you guys how to code the actual game. And then after we're done with that, I'll show you guys how to make the name thing. Okay, all right, let's get started. So first, before we even start our code, we need to tell Python what our magic number is going to be. So for this example, I'm just going to pick 6 because why not? Okay, so magic num equals 6. So I just made a variable declaration right there. And then I want to ask the user for what the number is or what they think the number is. So I'm going to make a new variable to store their input. And I'm going to save their input as an integer so that I can compare it with the magic number. And then once I type in int, I'm going to type in the actual input command. So that's input. And then I'm going to ask them to enter a number. Just like that. Okay. Once I do that, I need to compare if the input matches the magic number. So I'm going to type in if input1 equals magic number, then I want to print you guessed the right number. Okay. But most likely the user isn't going to guess the right number on their first try. So in order to adjust for that, we're going to have to help the user out by telling them to guess a number that's higher or lower. So the way you're going to do that is by putting the code that tells the user if the number is too high or too low inside a while loop. So this is what it looks like. You would type in while input, while input 1 does not equal the magic number. You want to do everything that we're going to type under the while loop. So just to make you guys remember, does not equal is an exclamation mark and equal sign. So we're going to run this while loop as long as the user's input is not the same as the magic number, okay? Okay, the first case that we can have is if the number that the user entered is bigger than the magic number. So I would type in if input 1 is greater, I'm just gonna add a space there. We don't need the space, but I think it looks better with the spaces. So if input 1 is greater than magic number, then I want to print guess lower. Okay, because we need their number to be smaller than we need their next guess to be smaller than their current guess so that they have a better chance of, hitting the number. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to ask them for a guess again because we need to give them another chance. Okay, so input 1 equals integer. Save their input as an integer again so that you can compare the input with the magic number and then enter a number once again. Okay, that's the first condition. The second condition that we can have is if their input is smaller than the magic number. So I'm going to use an elif or an else if statement And I'm going to do if input 1 is less than the magic number, you want to print you need to guess higher. So guess higher, just like that. And then, in order to give the user another chance, I'm going to allow them to input another number. So integer, save it as an integer again, like we've been doing, and enter a number. Okay, just like that. Okay, the final thing that could have happened is if it actually guessed the number while they were inside the while loop. So else, and then I'm just going to do break so that it breaks out of the while loop if the user actually guesses a number that's the same number as the magic number. Okay. So once I break out of the while loop, I'm going to print you guessed the right number. Just like that. Okay. So once it breaks out of the while loop, it's going to come down to the code under the while loop, which is this print statement. And this tells the user that they guessed the right code. So the only way the user is going to reach this part of the code is if they break out of the while loop by guessing the right number. So since we don't have any red lines, let's test it out. So I'm going to pull up our terminal again, and then I'm going to run it. So oh no, I need to run this scratch file. So I'm going to just hit run scratch. Okay, it's going to ask me to enter a number. So I'll do 5. I need to guess higher. 7, guess lower. 6. You guessed the right number. So that's just the game. But now I'm going to show you guys how to add the name prompting thing at the top, just so that it makes it a little more fun for the user. Okay, so we want this to happen first, so we're going to add it at the top of the code. So we're going to save the name of the user in the variable name. So we're going to ask the user for their name. Hi, what's your name? Okay. And you don't have to convert this into an integer because this is going to be a string since it's a word, which is your name. And then after that, you want to print hey. And then you want to print their name so that it feels like the code is talking to them. And then you're going to print the rest of the message. I'm just going to put a comma so that we're following grammar rules. This is the guess a number thing. Actually, I'll put that in caps. Number. And then we're going to tell them how to play the game. So you need to guess the right number to win. Just like that. Okay, so that should work. What's your name? My name is Fred. Hey Fred, this is the guess number game. You need to guess the right number to win. Enter a number. Let's do 20. Slower. Except we know the number, so we can just guess it right away. But if you want to make it harder for your user, you could change this number in the code every single time before you let another person play. So another thing I just wanted to point out real quick is you actually don't need the break here because you can just directly put the print statement right here. But I just put the break in so that you guys can see what the break statement does. So yeah, this is the Guess a Number project. Thanks for watching, guys.